So.
I mean, we're learning, you know. I mean, it's just install 3, so we put a different install in every day. So a lot of learning going on out there in the field. So you know, it's hard. You know, you look at a lot of things. You might say, "Wow, that's a big play." But usually, when there's a big play on one side of the ball, the other side of the ball is somebody making a mistake on the opposite side. So you know, we just got to get those things cleaned up.
You see any difference when the pads went on today?
I think it's a lot easier to get things done, obviously, you know what I mean? And you look, it's one of the hard things is teaching guys, especially all young players and young college kids, don't get to be out here all the time. You know, I mean, how to practice without pads. There's a lot to that. So, I mean, you feel safer being out here on pads. You know, I don't think we had some injuries first couple of days. A couple of guys get banged up and all, and out here today are a little safer protected. So, I think it helps having the pads on.
How about just getting your new coaches kind of in the flow of things, the practice flow?
Well, it's good. I think, you know, a lot of them understand what we expect. You know, being around and. But you know, I think everybody. You know, you're a coach. This is where you want to be out on the field, coaching and teaching and doing football. So I think, you know, our coaches, even bumping practice back from yesterday to today, they get antsy. Not just the players, but the coaches want to get out there on the field. So I think they're enjoying themselves.
Tyler looked pretty good. I know he was kind of sick yesterday, but
yeah, he's still a little under the weather, I think, still. But he, I mean, he understands that's part of being a starting quarterback. You're never always going to feel great. So, but. He did good, you know, a couple of new things we're looking at and trying. And, you know, the great thing, though, about him is always, you know, when you're an experienced guy, is he's going to look and say, hey, I like this, don't like this. Can we try it a little differently? You know, and you know, as he said, you know, we want to maybe even get more camera film on him so he can just see some steps and certain new things that we're doing out there on the field and just get an individual camera on him on the field. And, you know, which is great to have a guy that really wants to study all of that.
He suggested that y'all put him more under center this year and said he's really enjoying that.
Yeah, but, you know, I think he's got a lot of work to do on it, too. And you know, one of the things, and in the offseason a lot, we'll practice some more under center at times just because it makes you strain a little bit more. You know, he's got to get from here and get all the way back there. He's got to work a little bit harder under center. So, but I think it's good for him, and it'll give him comfort, and even as he moves into the future playing as well.
How much of that also is just Tyler, when the back foot hits the ground, the ball's going to come out, and just don't second guess yourself because your gut instinct is usually right.
You know, I mean, it is. You know, it's decision making, and you know, I mean, have a good idea what you want to do before the snap, you know what I mean? Don't assume where you're going with the ball, but anticipate what's going to happen out there on the field. And if it's not right, then you got to know how to change it quick. But if you are right, you'll get rid of the ball on time or even quicker than on time.
You told us there'd be a lot of mixing and matching units, and we've sort of seen that the first couple of days too.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of opportunity to be had on the field. You know, one always tough thing in spring in that is a lot of times you end up whole substitution, you know. But when you're in a game situation, you don't hold substitute. So guys got to play with other guys, and they got to be used to you know, different numbers of guys around them. So by doing that, it allows you to kind of get more comfortable with everybody on the team.
Based on these first few practices, it seems like you guys weren't lying about getting all the tight ends involved.
Yeah, you know, I mean, well, you look, we have them now. They're you know, kind of growing up, a little bit more of a strength for the team, and a little bit of depth. And we got to keep everybody healthy, but you know, I see them having a much bigger role even this year, and you know, even though they've had some pretty big roles in the past, but it even expanding more.
And good to finally have a little bit of depth and health at this point, anyway.
Well, it does. Well, it helps. You know, I mean, if you're trying to develop a package, and all of a sudden one guy gets hurt, and you just have really one guy in a whole package, it doesn't make you feel real comfortable. When you have a group of guys, you know, when you put the package in, you know, there's a good guy, there's a pair and a spare there to come in to, you know, as to take the reps, you feel a little bit better about it.
Don't do any